Hey, hi everyone, this is Koinzell here. So today we are going to talk about the comparison of 5-star weapons for Hu Tao. This is actually a follow-up video from the previous one where I compared the Black Cliff Pole versus Deathmatch versus Lifted Spear, i.e. the 4-star weapon comparisons. Okay, so today we are going to do a comparison for the 5-star weapons. Today the video is going to be much shorter because since I already have a first video where I explained the basis of calculation, I went through all the figures, so you guys know how that is being done. Today's video, I'm just going to focus on two things. One is the attack versus HP sense for Primal Jade Wind Spear, Skyward Spine, and Staff of Homa versus and then the final conclusion with regards to these three weapons. Alright, so it should be significantly shorter than the previous video, and I'll put a link on the top right corner to the previous video so that you guys can understand the basis of calculation. You can look at the 4-star weapons comparisons as well. So I'll also put it in the video description as well as a pinned comment below, so that should be helpful enough for you guys. Now let's talk about the attack versus HP sense. So attack versus HP sense for the Homa is added here, as well as the Primal Jade Wind Spear and Skyward Spine, because both of them share the same value. So you see these are the values. At the base attack, at character level 80 and Homa 80, your base is 626. Character 80, Primal Jade Wind Spear 80 or Skyward Spine 80 is 684. This is because Hu Tao's base attack is actually very low. Because of how her kit is like, her base attack is actually very low. It's only 106 here. Whereas a 4-star character easily has like 220 to 240 plus attack. Okay, that's for you. I mean, why I say it's low, I mentioned the 4-star so that you can have a comparison. You know that her attack is only about half of a 4-star character. I've also added the level 90 character and weapon level 90 for Homa, PJW, and SS2. So you have 714 and 780 here. Now the important one is the comparison here, where from a attack sense versus a HP sense, this is the attack value that you get from an attack sense, 319 for character 80, weapon level 80, Primordial Jade Wind Spear. At skill level 6, it's only slightly better than the attack percent, but the HP sense is still better. But at skill level 9 is significantly better, the amount of attack that you can get from HP sense rather than attack sense. And skill level 12 you get another 50 plus attack. So I've already mentioned in my previous video before that skill level 9 is recommended if you want to use Hu Tao. Because of how the kit works, you really need skill level 9 so that your artifact farming is not a complete nightmare. Okay, so if we use 9 as a comparison, it's 381 versus 319 and 432 versus 363. So hands down, HP sense is still better than attack sense. Okay, I hope that this clears any doubts that you guys may have, because I know a lot of people are still thinking that attack sense is better. No, that's not the case. It is HP sense that is better. There's only a couple of scenarios, conditions where attack percent is better than HP percent, only if you have already achieved a 400% attack cap. But I can tell you right now, I've crunched the numbers, and for Primordial Jade Wind Spear and Skyward Spine, it's not going to be possible to hit the 400% attack cap without using a HP percentage sense as well as a HP percent Headpiece. Okay, so it's not possible for this weapon. It's just not possible. Alright. In all this is really for the 4-star weapon. You can consider relying on the Rosaria's 50% CR buff in future, but I wouldn't do that because after all the buff is not going to be like forever, and Rosaria we don't know when she will be released. So it's better to stick to these two, to know that you should only use attack percent sense when 400% attack cap is already achieved. And I can tell you, across the 3 5-star weapons that we are going to compare today, there is only one weapon and one particular setup where you can use attack percent sense. Other than that, you should use HP percentage sense. Alright, so let's jump straight to, now that we have gotten this landing, we know that attack HP percentage sense is pretty much always better than attack percent sense for Hu Tao. We'll go right into the overall conclusion. Now you notice that I've already done the figures. Sorry, you notice I've already done the figures for all the different permutation. Homa at R5 gives you such a high attack figure, by the way, 5.7k. But I won't be running through each of these. Maybe at the end of the conclusion, I'll just show you guys the HP percentage required, so you guys have an idea how difficult it is to farm the artifacts for some of the 5-star weapons. So let's jump straight into the conclusions. So first off, in terms of overall conclusions, the very first one is that Primordial Jade Wind Spear and Skyward Spine both have too high of a base attack without any HP percentage buff from the weapon, resulting in scenarios where without perfect artifact rolls and C3 Hu Tao, you will actually suffer an attack loss in not hitting the 400% attack cap. In fact, if I consider realistic artifact rolls, right, your overall attack during E is going to be either on par with 4-star weapons, or even worse, or slightly better. So what happens is that yes, you will have a slightly higher you will have a slightly higher attack before using Hu Tao's E. But once you use Hu Tao's E, Primordial Jade Wind Spear and Skyward Spine, without perfect artifact rolls and C3 Hu Tao, you're actually going to end up with a situation where your attack is actually going to be either on par with 4-star weapons, or worse, or slightly better, depending on your artifact rolls. But there is a saving grace here in that the 5-star weapons do have weapon effects that help, such as the damage buff from Primordial Jade Wind Spear at max stacks. But bear in mind the max stats needs 2.1 seconds to build up. That's about 25% of the Hu Tao's E duration. Okay, and then Skyward Spine, you have the Vacuum Blade effect. Every 2 seconds, you have a damage effect. But honestly speaking, if you ask me, I don't think it's going to be a significant advantage over the 4-star weapons, especially if considering the realistic artifact rules. Because 4-star weapons, the artifact farming is going to be a lot easier. If you're an F2 player, I don't think, and you have a spare Primordial Jade Wind Spear or Skyward Spine, my recommendation is still to use 4-star weapons actually. Primordial Jade Wind Spear and Skyward Spine just require so much HP percentage that without perfect artifact rolls and C3 Hu Tao, you end up having more or less the same performance as a 4-star weapon if I don't look at the additional weapon effects. So if you have other characters that are originally using your PJW and SS, I think it's actually better to keep the 5-star weapons on them and use 4-star weapon on Hu Tao instead. I know this sounds ironic, but these are really based on the figures I have crunched. Alright, so Homa is much better in this aspect, as its base attack is high, but not the highest. It provides HP buff and crit damage as its substat, which means it's much easier to farm her artifacts. Significantly easier, which I will show you the artifacts I've gotten with 2 weeks of max resin refill farming. I'll show you later when I talk about the artifact farming session. So to conclude, right, if you are a player who have already decided to spend to pull, don't pull PJW, don't FOMO and try to pull for a PJW before the PJW banner ends. Pull Homa for sure. Okay, but remember, the weapon banner may give you Wolf Crystal instead of Homa. So it's really the player's choice to decide whether or not to take the risk. I'm not going to be someone who, on the internet, who does a YouTube video and tell you, hey, spend your money, buy this. No, it's up to the player's choice. But all I can recommend is not to pull PJW, but to pull for Homa if you're going to spend your money. Alright? Or spend your Primal Gems. Okay. Now, next thing, the second conclusion is leveling Hu Tao and her weapon to level 19 grants a lot more attack 5 times than other attack-based characters. Although the general comparison of 7 to the 88 versus 8 to the 98 still remains the same for Hu Tao herself. So again, it's the player's decision. I personally will go for it because 5 as the usual attack is definitely good compared to other characters. Meaning, like let's say if you attack-based character, when you up the Hu Tao and her weapon to level 19, you gain something like 100 plus attack. But on Hu Tao, you are actually able to get 500 attack. So yep, that's why I say it's still ultimately up to the player, but I personally will go for it. Okay, also because I like the character design. I like the Japanese voice artist as well, voice actor as well. If you guys know what this line refers to. Alright, so let's move on to the next conclusions. So for skill level is actually very important for Hu Tao. If you want to use Primordial Jade Wind Spear and Skyward Spine, despite my advice, right, I would recommend to get skill level 12 if you want to hit the 400% attack cap. If not, then yeah, stick with level 9, just that on level 9 you won't be able to hit the 400% attack cap. Okay? So only Homa allows you to hit the 400% attack cap with skill level 9. This is, i.e. you don't need C3 Hu Tao with Homa to hit 400% attack cap, but you need C3 Hu Tao with Primordial Jade Wind Spear or Skyward Spine in order to hit the 400% attack cap. So this is another reason why Homa is better than the PJW or SS. Okay, so in terms of ranking, I would say both PJ and SS are actually kind of bad because without perfect artifact rolls and C3 Hu Tao, they actually end up performing more or less the same as a 4-star weapon in terms of the attack value during E, although they do have additional weapon effects, but yeah. Okay, R1 Skyward Spine has a silver lining in the sense of if you have C3 Hu Tao level 12, i.e. level 12 skill, you have R1 SS, you use HP percentage sense and HP percentage headpiece. You have a good scenario where your artifact upgrades requirements are actually evenly distributed between CR percent, HP percent, and CD percent. So that's the silver lining there. Okay, it actually makes your life easier in terms of the artifact upgrade. So I mean, you can imagine, right, when you're trying to upgrade your artifacts, if 3 out of the 4 of the stats are good for you, your life of doing the artifact upgrade is going to be very easy, as opposed to say you're only trying to get 1 stat out of 4 stats. Okay, so that's the silver lining I'm talking about. Of course, this also means that in return, your base attack, your base rolls on the artifact to begin with must have HP percentage, CR percentage, and CD percentage. Yeah, not easy, right? Yep. Alright, so definitely Homa if you're going to pull for a 5-star weapon. Okay. Now let's talk about the sense and the headpiece. So attack or HP percentage sense and CR, CD or HP percentage headpiece. So Primordial Jade Wind Spear and Skyward Spine, they both require HP percentage sense and HP percentage headpiece. The other options, if you go for anything other than double HP percentage main stat on these 2 weapons, you are either worse off either in a lower attack value or a much increased difficulty on the artifact upgrades. Alright. And the other thing is for Homa, right? Homa can explore various options. It can even afford to have a attack percent sense and HP percent headpiece or vice versa if your skill level is 12 and you are only targeting a 50% CR target. Because I know there are people who think that 50% CR is enough. There are people who follow the 1-to-2 golden ratio. I'm not going to advocate either one. Okay, but since Hu Tao has such a high attack, I personally feel that it's better to follow the 1-to-2 golden ratio. So you crit more and make sure that you make good use of the high attack. But that's my view, alright? And why is it that Homa can afford to use attack percent sense? It's because she allows you to use the HP percentage such that, how should I put it? Homa allows you to use attack percent sense because with just a HP percentage headpiece at skill level 12 and 50% CR target, you actually are able to get enough HP so that you hit the attack percent cap, 400% attack cap, and can still use the attack percent sense. Alright. Now let's talk about 50% CR target versus 80% CR target. Only Homa allows you to go for 80% CR target while only suffering a 100 loss in attack, which can be elevated by some better upgrades for its flexible rolls, right? But for PJW and SS, they both suffer 2 grade attack loss when you go from 50 to 80% CR target for it to be worthwhile. Yeah, we are talking about a loss of about 500 attack. Okay, so yep, I would recommend if you want 80% CR target to use Homa. If you're using PJW or SS, you should just go for 50% CR target. It's unfortunate, but yeah, that's the truth of it. It's quite interesting, right? Where this is actually a scenario where having too high of a base attack is actually bad. That's why I say the Hu Tao build is very, very interesting. Alright, move on to the next point. Between R1 to R5 of each of these 5-star weapon. So R1 to R5 Homa grants you 2 main benefits. One is the flexibility and reduction in difficulty for artifact farming and upgrades. The other thing is the attack boost that you get. It's about 339 to 678 attack boost. For R1 to R5 Primordial Jade Wind Spear and Skyward Spine, they do not grant enough benefits for the cost, honestly speaking, because even the reduction in difficulty for artifact farming and upgrades is too little. So take for example the R1 to R5 Primordial Jade Wind Spear. Your actual difference in terms of flexibility, you only get 1 more flexible upgrade, which means that out of 22 upgrades, initially you must have 20 artifact rolls that are perfect. 2 of them can go into flat defense, for example. When you go from R1, that's R1. When you go to R5, you only get 3 flexible upgrades, which means 19 of your artifact upgrades must be perfect, and 3 of them can go into flat defense. So I hope you can kind of appreciate how difficult it is to do this. Alright, so artifact farming. I personally finished the farming of the Hu Tao artifacts in about 2 weeks of max raising refill. Max raising refill basically means that each day I refill with additional 360 raising. So 360 raising is about 18 more artifacts, 18 more 5-star artifacts per day for 2 weeks. And I finally finished farming, but it's assuming I'm using Homa, R5 Homa for that matter. They are definitely less than ideal, but they are close enough. For Primordial Jade Wind Spear and Skyward Spine, if I use the artifacts that I farmed in these 2 weeks, I will get such a low attack that I think it's going to be worse off than 4-star weapons. And they are going to require months, and like things like I think can spend anywhere from 2 to 3 months or maybe even up to 6 months of farming just to get those stats, because it's really, really difficult. Alright, so let's look at the artifacts that I farmed in-game. So these are the overall stats. I will have 66.3% CR for my Hu Tao. Crit damage, this is not accurate figure because this is Amber. So it's just to show that we have a plus 28% crit damage on top of the 155 target. Yeah. Okay, so if we look at the artifacts, this is my CR Headpiece because I'm trying to go for higher than 50% CR target. If you look at the rows here, it's terrible. There's flat attack, flat defense, and energy recharge. There's only one good stat here, which is the HP percentage. And luckily for me, 2 of the upgrades went to HP. So that's why this becomes a usable headpiece for me. And I'm using an offset headpiece because I managed to get a onset goblet, Pyro Goblet. But the Pyro Goblet also has terrible stats, which you will see soon. Okay, so this is the stats on the Pyro Goblet. 9.9% HP. Sorry, I knew it was going to move fast. 9.9% HP, 31 at flat attack, freaking 61 elemental mastery, and 5.8% defense. I mean, like, why did I get so many elementary mastery upgrades, right? This is like 2 or 3 upgrades into elemental mastery instead of, say, HP percentage. And there's no crit rate, no crit damage here, right? So that's why I say these artifacts are really less than ideal. But ironically enough, they actually work. Because why? Because I am permutating this based on R5 Homa. R5 Homa does give me that flexibility. Okay, so this is the Sense, a HP Sense with 7.4% crit rate and 17.1% crit damage. Obviously, I didn't want so many upgrades into my crit damage, but we kind of have no choice. since that's just what happened. And it took me forever to get this HP. This HP means that with crit rate, by the way. So yep. It feels like forever, but yeah, overall was 2 weeks. And this feather, personally, I'm quite happy with it. There's crit damage 10.9, crit rate 10.5, HP 9.9. So 2 upgrades went into crit rate, 1 upgrade went into HP percentage basically, and 1 into crit damage. Has flat HP here, which helps, but yeah, it would have been better if it was, probably it would have been better if it was attack percent. Okay, let's move on. Flower. Okay, so for the flower itself, I have 10.5% HP and just crit rate 9.3%. So this is barely usable, and there are some flat stats as well. Flat attack, flat defense. But ironically enough, this does make the entire set usable because of how Homa works, because of how Hu Tao works, where HP percentage and crit rate percentage is more important. Okay, sorry. Alright, so that is it for the artifacts. And if you guys want to see a better view, this is how it looks like. Okay. Let me just stop the other one. Alright, so with those artifacts that I just showed you, where they are definitely less than ideal, along with R5 Staff of Homa and C3 Hu Tao, i.e. a very real kind of zone, I can get this amount of HP, this amount of attack before I use the elemental skill. And once I use the elemental skill, I have 4.6k attack. If I have less than 50% HP, I will get 5.4k attack with 63.3% CR and 182.6% CD. So the CR CD stats are nice, although the CR is a bit lacking, it's kind of far from 80%. But the attack is really good. It's 5.4k attack during the less than 50% HP effect and 4.6k without the less than 50% HP. So this is very high. This is insane, right guys? This is insane. There's no character right now in the game that has this high amount of attack. The highest I've seen so far without foot buffs, without any other buffs, probably with some perfect rolls on either Xiao or Gan Yu, you can hit maybe something like almost 3k attack before all the foot buffs, character buffs, etc. So you can hit this with Hu Tao without any of those. Alright, so Homa is really good. That's my conclusion here. Homa is easily the best weapon for her, really. Alright, so you really have to start farming the pyro artifacts for her now if you have not already started, if you intend to use her. And try to get HP Sense and HP Headpiece with high crit damage, high crit rate rolls. Or a CR Headpiece with very high HP percentage rolls if you are trying to go for a 80% CR setup. I don't recommend the crit damage Headpiece at all because it makes the artifact upgrades even harder because you don't need that additional crit damage from Headpiece at all. If you use this, it means that you need a much more artifacts upgrades on your crit rate and HP percentage. And it also makes it such that you can't hit the max attack cap. And if you are using PJW or SS, then you should only consider HP Sense and HP Headpiece for maximum benefits, really. Which means your substats on your other artifacts, right, will have to have enough crit rate such that you can hit 50% crit rate. That's why I say it's very difficult to farm for artifacts on PJW and SS. I'm not saying to blindly use HP Sense and HP Headpiece, by the way. It means that when you use HP Sense and HP Headpiece, you get the most benefit provided you have 50% CR. At least 50% CR. I'm typing this in now because I think some people may watch this without hearing my voice. So yeah, let me put this caveat in. Okay. You should only consider HP Sense and HP Headpiece for max benefits, provided you have already achieved 50% CR based on that. Alright, that's why I say CR roles on the artifacts for PJW or SS is very important. You'll see that it's very important even on my Homa, those artifacts that I showed just now. So even with 5-star weapons and very good artifacts rolled for the other characters, right, they will still be less, typically about 2000, 2500 attack, less than Hu Tao during her E. Even if your artifacts are not perfectly rolled, but you still achieve 50% CR, she still will have to about 2000 attack higher than other characters, other than the highest attack CR character, attack characters like Gan Yu and Xiao. Alright. So my conclusion is that Hu Tao is insanely good, and Homa is definitely the best weapon for her. If in fact PJW and SS are so bad that for her, ironically they are so bad that if you don't have perfect artifacts, they end up performing worse than 4-star weapons. So if you have a spare PJW that your Xiangling is using, for example, you might actually be better off letting Xiangling use that and get a Homa for Hu Tao instead, or even a 4-star weapon for Hu Tao instead. You make your life in artifact farming easier as well. Right? So if I F2P player, go for a 4-star weapon rather than use a existing PJW or SS that you have. Right? Artifact builds. I personally like 4 witch. Set for her because it's better than the 2 witch and 2 glads. Why? Because 2 glads you only get 80% attack from the base attack, which gives you very little buff, by the way. Which gives you really very little buffs. Okay, I only mentioned 4-star weapons here, but in terms of 5-star weapon, it's even lower. For the PJW, sorry, for the best Homa setup, right? Let's say if you achieve 5.7k attack, you only get about 2.2% effective increase. Because your attack is so high that that small little attack does less than a pyro damage stack. Okay? So that is why I say 4 witch is probably better than 2 witch and 2 glads. And 4 lava walker is actually not too bad, because Hu Tao can keep hitting with pyro using her normal attack during her E. But of course I know that lava walker still suffers from the same disadvantage that it has right now. Meaning once you trigger elemental reaction, the pyro will be removed. So the next hit that you hit with Hu Tao is not going to have the 35% damage boost. It's just applying pyro. And then the next hit that you have will then finally have that 35% damage boost. So it's like your 35% effect is halved, right? It becomes something like 17.5%, which is lesser than what the witch set can give you. And the 17.5% damage on top of that, right? Against pyro slimes, you will never be able to. Against slimes, you will never be able to enjoy the 35% effect because they already have other elements on them. So whatever you hit them with the pyro, it's just gonna trigger a reaction. And when it's raining, your pyro will never be in effect. So lava worker has all these disadvantages. But rather than focusing on the set, I'll say focus on the stats, because we all know how hard the stats are. A well-rolled lava worker can still work very well. In fact, I actually did up some of my lava walker pieces in case I get 4 lava walker pieces so that I can do a play test for you guys as a live stream when the Hu Tao is out. But I haven't managed to get a well-rolled lava walker, honestly speaking. I'm still lacking 1 piece if I didn't remember wrongly. Then we're looking Headpiece Sense Lava Walker. Yeah, so final advice I can give for this part of the tip is try to target 50% CR first instead of 80%, so they can slowly improve on it. Yeah, alright. But of course, remember that if you want 80% CR, a CR Headpiece is definitely better than a HP percentage Headpiece, assuming you are using Homa, right? Okay, attack range. So Skyward Spine actually has one of the lowest attack range with a 80% CR target. It's about 3k to 4.4k. Okay. Primordial Jet Wind Spear is 3.2k to 4.7k, but obviously the 4.4k and 4.7k require absolutely perfect artifact rolls. And on top of that, it's also only with the 50% CR target. Because I've mentioned before, right, for Primordial Jet Wind Spear and the Skyward Spine, when you go for 80% CR target, you no matter what, you will suffer at least 500, about 400 to 500 attack loss, because you have to dedicate your HP percentage upgrades to crit rate instead. So for Skyward Spy, you only have room for 1 error, whereas Primordial Jade Wind Spear, you have room for 3 errors. That means you can have 3 upgrades going to flat defense. Skyward Spy can only have 1 upgrade going into flat defense. So you can appreciate how difficult it is to get these values here, right? On top of that, these are all with 50% target, by the way. Yeah. Okay, so this is also for the Homa, 3.7k. It ranges from 3.7k to 5.7k. So you see that even with the 80% CR and the worst kind of scenario where you did not get enough HP% upgrade, you still have a significantly higher attack than the Skyward Spy and PJW. And you can even hit up to 5.7k attack if I include the less than 50% HP effect, which in the first place is part of Hu Tao's playstyle. If you're not already aware, Hu Tao's A4 Ascension Phase 4 talent, i.e. the talent that you get when you ascend at level 60, is less than 50% HP, you get 33% pyro damage boost. So that's why I say Homa's entire kit is about her being a berserker, where you try to maintain having less than 50% HP but not too low. So 5.7k attack is very, very, very nice. Alright. So I hope this also shows you guys the comparison between these 3 5-star weapons. I really don't recommend using them. In some cases, without perfect artifacts, even 4-star weapons can perform better than them. So that's why I say I don't recommend them. Yeah. Okay, some general tips. Yeah, when I say 9 CR upgrades, right, it's about equivalent to approximately 10% CR per artifact. So it's really not easy, even though it sounds easy on paper. Remember to farm and save your Shards of Our Legacy. This is the material dropped by Tatalia or Child, the 16 Raising boss. You need 4 of it to upgrade her elemental skill to level 9. So minimum you need 4 of the Shards of Our Legacy before Hu Tao is released. So try to farm it before 2nd or 3rd March. Alright? Then you need to farm her talents, Ascension weapon materials. So her talents is Diligence. She's using Diligence. Ascension wise, she's using Whopper Flower Nectar, the Pyro Gems, as well as the new material from the Primo Jovishep. Weapon materials for Homa is Aerocedarite, sorry. So that's the one that you can farm on Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Okay, so I can complete the video with a one last look at the HP percentage required and the number of upgrades required for each of the permutations, so that you guys have a good idea what I've been talking about. So first off, let's look at the Primordial Jade Wind Spear. At level 80 character, weapon level 80, this is the max HP you require, and these are the HP percentage that you require. That's why I say you need double HP, means that in order for it to be even feasible. Look at this. It's so high, right? Okay. So just look at this. This is after you take away the double HP, you still have 106.5 left. At level 12 is 63.1, which is doable. 10 HP percentage upgrades. Not easy, but doable. Okay. Character level 19 with Primordial Jade Wind Spear 19. These are the requirements. Your max HP. These are the max HP. This is the max HP required. This is the HP percentage required. Again, it's not that easy. And only level 12 looks doable if you consider using double HP main stat on the Sense and the Headpiece. Skyward Spine, pretty much the same in terms of the HP percentage requirement. But when it comes to the artifact upgrades, Skyward Spine is worse because Skyward Spine has no crit rate such that there's only an 8% crit rate from the weapon effect. So if you see here, the number of crit rate upgrades required is 7 across. When you compare it to a 80 Primordial Jade Wind Spear, it's 3 across. And a level 90 character with Skyward Spine weapon level 19 R1, same thing, you need 7. And this is the requirement. It's pretty much the same as the 90 PJW permutation. And with R5, you have the same stats, but it's slightly better because her crit rate stat from the weapon effect is higher with her refinement effect, so it's slightly better, but still you need some crit rate rolls. Oh, by the way, this number of upgrades is assuming you have base roll present on all your possible artifacts. Okay, so if they are not present as a base roll, you actually need to add on to the number of upgrades that you need. Not easy. This is for Homa. Homa, you'll notice right off the bat that Homa is a lot easier. There's even less than 40k HP appearing here. Okay, and the percentage is also significantly lower. You should look at the one for artifacts because Homa gives you HP percentage on the weapon. Okay, so by comparison, at level 12 with C3 Hu Tao, you need 111.6%. At level 9, you need 151.4%. 151.4% is somewhat equal to that on the Skyward Spine and Primordial Jade Wind Spear when it comes to C3 Hu Tao. Okay, that's the beauty of it. When you roll for a Homa instead of a Primordial Jade Wind Spear or Skyward Spine, when you use a Homa instead of PJW or SS, your HP requirement actually gets lowered to an extent where it's like you have C3 Hu Tao on PJW and SS, but you only have C0 Hu Tao on Homa. Right, so that's good. And you see the upgrades on Homa. When it's C3 Hu Tao, it's really nice. For R1 Homa, you have 12 flexible upgrades. That makes your artifact farming a lot easier. Then you have C90 Homa with R1. So slightly higher in fact because you increase your level and your weapon based attack. Artifact upgrades quite tough on level 9, but it's doable. Okay, at least you still get the max attack stack. Right, you still get a higher attack. But when it comes to R5 Homa, the percentage here is the same, but the artifacts is a lot easier. Just look at the green section, the number of possible artifact rolls, right? So if you want to go 80% CR target, right, you can even do so on C3 Hu Tao, and you'll still be able to get max attack. If you don't have C3 Hu Tao, you have C0 Hu Tao, you can still go for 80% CR target. You only suffer a 100 attack loss if you compare these two figures. But the difference is that your artifact rolls must be perfect on C0 Hu Tao if you want to go for 80% CR. But let's say you are an L2P player, I think it's good to go for a C0 Hu Tao, 50% CR target with Homa. You have a very comfortable artifact farming here, right? I would say the using double HP percentage is better than using a CR percentage Headpiece, because if you use CR percentage Headpiece, you need 15 HP percentage upgrades, but you only need this when you are using double HP. Alright, so most scenarios double HP percentage is better for 50% CR target. Double HP means that, i.e. HP Sense and HP Headpiece. Okay, so I hope this video has been helpful to you guys in terms of seeing the stats and the HP percentage as well as the number of artifact upgrades required to get an optimized Hu Tao setup where you have a high base attack, a decent crit rate and high crit damage as well. Or in some cases where if you're willing to wheel, you can even target for 80% CR target with high crit damage. A special note to mention, just now I talked about the 50% CR target with attack sense, right? This is the permutation. You see that the attack is actually slightly higher than if you go double HP on a level 9 crit rate Headpiece. So it doesn't feel as worth it, right? But your artifact upgrades are easier. It's 9.7 as opposed to 1.15. That's the silver lining. But I personally am going for this session here. This session here. Oops, that's bad. Don't mess up my formulas. So this session here, where I am going for a 80% CR target, but obviously we did not achieve it. I already showed my artifacts just now. We'll be stopping at 63.3%, which is good enough for now. Unless one fine day I find the resources to be able to farm pyro artifacts again, then we will do it. Otherwise, I'm quite happy with the artifacts that I've already farmed now. At least it's usable, and I'm ready to use her when Hu Tao releases. So I hope this video has been informative to you guys on the comparison between PJW, SS, as well as Hu Tao. The whole stuff, Hu Tao signature weapon, which is stuff of Homa. Alright, so general gist of it, TLDR, especially for F2P or L2P players, if you have PJW SS lying around, don't use them. You're actually better off using a 4-star weapon, because the attack difference is more or less the same. You are losing out on the weapon effect, but your artifact farming is a lot easier. Okay, like seriously, it's so much easier on 4-star weapons as opposed to PJW and SS. But if you intend to get Homa, then Homa obviously will outperform all the rest of the weapons. Alright? You will definitely outperform all of the rest of the weapons. Alright, thanks everyone for watching. Luckily I managed to make this video much shorter than previously, although it's a bit long too. But yep, I hope the content helps you guys. And remember to like the video and click subscribe for more if it does, yeah? Alright, thanks everyone for watching, especially your patience in watching this long video. Bye!